Imram was born in the Caucasus in 1968 in a family of teachers. At the age of 2, Imram began to have an active interest in music himself. He intuitively learned to play various musical instruments. When he was older, he spent hours working with test tubes and other laboratory attributes, chemicals for personal alchemical experiments. This points to his experience coming from past incarnations. In addition to creativity, he was also interested in sciences. His passion for martial arts, the philosophy of Tao, I Ching, Chan Buddhism and theurgy can be called an important period in Imram's life. After all, very soon, through understanding of the unity of all directions, he began to seriously engage in spiritual practices. Already in his youth, Imram visited various sacred places on the planet. He spent a lot of time in India, in the Himalayan mountains performing sadhana. Being in asceticism for a long time, he studied Sanskrit, Hindi and Vedic canons. Along the way, he contacted representatives of different faiths. Imram communicated directly with the Himalayan sages, enlightened masters, Sri Satya Sai Baba, Babaji Nagaraj, from whom he received initiation into Kriya, as well as with the immortal disciple of Babaji in the forests of Jaipur. At the time of the meeting, he was 1900 years old. Mahavatar Babaji materialized his immortal body and gave the holy blessing initiation to Imram in Kriya in 2002 when Imram was in asceticism in the Caucasus mountains.
Mahavatar Babaji has his own disciples. He leads them during a number of lives because Babaji is an eternal presence of God in his different forms. A self-realized master is someone whose consciousness reached oneness with a higher self. Someone who has experienced Atman. As people have lots of judgments, they usually think that self-realization is connected with getting a superpower, comprehensive knowledge and so on. But there are some saints who don't know many things, still they are saints. So, self-realization can be different. Seriously speaking, self-realization is an experience of truth within oneself. What does experience of truth mean? It is all about a master's inner philosophy. A master's philosophy, his inner attitude to everything, should go along with the principles of Advaita Vedanta, non-duality. Babaji Nagaraj is the high unknown, which incarnated in the year 203 and developed further. The essence of Babaji Nagaraj is extremely high. There are two teachers, Bhoganath and Agastya, who initiated him in Dhyan meditation and in Kriya Kundalini. It doesn't mean that Babaji himself didn't have knowledge. This is a God's Leela, a God's game, which makes people help each other. Jesus Christ also got initiation from high masters to uplift and inspire the spiritual nature he came into this world with. This helped him to reach God realization. When people differentiate Babaji's images, trying to name Babaji either this phenomenon or that, it only shows that their consciousness remains in its dual state. There is only one God and He is omnipresent. It's impossible to differentiate. Parampara, the world knows about, from Autobiography of a Yogi, is Babaji, Lahiri Mahasaya, Yuktaswar Giri, Yoganandaji. But Babaji has his own disciples. He manifests himself in front of them and personally initiates them to work in the world. The same happened to this body, personality, and essentiality. Every person who follows a spiritual path dreams of meeting such a high master who could bless him, but this is a teacher who decides when to visit his disciple. Babaji Nagaraj, who blessed Imram Giri and initiated him in Kriya tradition, is the same Babaji who Yogananda wrote about. So, Babaji initiated me in Kriya, and Satya Sai Baba initiated me in Sai Kriya Kundalini. In this life, I don't have a parampara in a strict sense, which implies a few assignments from one master to another. In my previous life, I was a Himalayan Mahatma, a Tibetan who was in the Buddhist tradition of Himalayan yogis. As I understood later, my present life was given to me to reach my own self-realization, working in the world. So I don't have a parampara as it is, but I was visited by Lahiri Mahasaya, Yukteswar Giri, and Yogananda. They came to me not only in meditation, but in the flesh too. Satya Sai Baba told me, "You are mine." I understand now that I don't have earthly teachers in this life. My teachers are Avatar Satya Sai Baba and Mahavatar Babaji. Satya Sai Baba is Purna Avatar in its Shiva Shakti aspect. In 2002, I went to the Caucasus mountains together with one of my colleagues. It was winter, February, and we spent there, in rough environments, about 2 weeks. Our food began to run short, just a little was left. We practiced pranayamas and read a small book, Babaji and the 18 Siddha Kriya Yoga tradition, written by Marshal Govindan. We are grateful to Monsieur Govindan because he gave this knowledge to the world. In those years, this book inspired a lot of people. So, my colleague was reading this book when I came back to our small hut from my morning practice. Without any expectations, I sat down near a small furnace to warm myself. It was rather cold. Mountains, forest, gorges, snow all around. As soon as I relaxed deeply, the space from the direction of the northern wall opened, and Sri Aurobindu appeared in his physical form. Swami Sri Aurobindu Ghosh is a very high soul. In India, he is considered to be an avatar. One of the books written by Aurobindu is The Synthesis of Yoga. At that moment, I was embarrassed, amazed, and happy at the same time. A thought appeared in my mind. Why has he come? What for? This was the activity of the mind which became very interested, pleased, and delighted. But as I stayed in deep relaxation after my pranayamas, I didn't allow myself to think so intensively. Meanwhile, Aurobindu's living face was looking at me. It wasn't an image or a picture, but a living face from the parallel dimension. This face appeared in front of me. A thought came to my mind. If he has come, something very important might happen now. He said to me, "Stop thinking and wait." I switched off my brain and was sitting quietly. Then Aurobindu disappeared, and the space opened fully. There was light, and everything looked like a tunnel into a parallel dimension. At that moment, Babaji appeared. It happened quickly enough, but so that I could realize how. It's extremely difficult to describe. It was the energy that manifested itself instantly. I saw Babaji's radiant smile, vibhuti all over his body, a garland of flowers around his neck, and his hand in abhimudra. He blessed me and initiated me into Kriya.